Okay guys, so LAB4, we are on LAB4 Eigrp authentication and some advanced configuration. I have changed the topology. Actually, we are not going to use Ethernet 0 by 0 in this one, but I just put it there. What I did here is I already set up the interfaces as per the requirement, right? How it's being set here, let me get to say now. Okay, so this is, so we have 201.1, 12.1.1 and others, and if we look the same here, we have 200.2.2, 12.1.2 and 2 network. So first of all, what we are going to do, we are only going to apply loopback 1 in Eigrp, or you can do all. It's totally up to you guys. Okay, but you know, now you should know how we do the Eigrp routes, right? So we can do config t router Eigrp 100, and we can say network 12.0.0.0 and network 1.0.0.0, right? So we are not doing 200 for now, so let's do the same in this one, and router 2 network 12.0.xqt, yeah, 12.0.0 and network 2.0.0. So you can see that we have neighbor relationship, and if I look at the neighbors, we have the details. So if I do neighbor detail, you'll see that this is the version we are using. There is no retransmission retry. There are 4 prefixes we are receiving. So if I do show IP route Eigrp, you can see we are receiving 4 prefixes, right? So that's very basic thing, right? So the next step is to do authentication between the two. So to authenticate, Eigrp only supports MD5, so, and it also uses keychain method. So we're going to use keychain. So let's create a keychain test. Let's create key 1. Let's create the key string of Cisco, right? So we can do the same on router 2, but let's finish router 1 first. So if you go to serial 1 by 2 and then do IP authentication and then do the mode. So we have to define the mode for Eigrp 100, which is MD5. So it only supports MD5. And then we also have to define IP authentication. Instead of mode, we will define keychain for Eigrp 100 and then the keychain name. So we put the keychain name test. So we just put this test here. Right. So now if I look at show IP Eigrp neighbor, right now we don't have anything because the neighbor relationship has gone down because of the authentication. So we need to do the same thing on the other side. So if I do show run section key, and if I do show run interface 1 by 2, so I need to copy these two things. So I can copy that here just to speed up these things, because these things are very many and you don't want to spend more time on these things, but these are very crucial things because in all environments where they run Eigrp, they run this kind of thing. So now if you will see that now the neighbor relationship will come out. You see the neighbor relationship come out, and if I do show IP Eigrp neighbor detail, usually it shows show IP protocol. So usually it shows somewhere regarding the authentication. It's in under the interface. Show IP Eigrp interface serial 1 by 2, and let's see what it shows us. Do we have to do the detail? No, we have to do the detail here. It's still not showing me anything. Show IP Eigrp. That's the command was supposed to show. Have they changed it? Oh, I'm on the wrong interface. You see, I was looking 1 by 2, it should be 1 by 1. So hello interval and hold time, split horizon, and then we have authentication mode is MD5 and key change is test. So there you go. This is the command you need to run on the right interface. So that's it for the authentication. Now there are a couple of other things which I want to talk to you guys about. For example, we have show IP protocol. If you look, it says the maximum hop count is 100. So what if you want to change the maximum hop count? So you go into the router Eigrp 100, and if you look at metric and maximum hops, and if you look the value, we have the hop of 1 to 255, and if I change it to 110, like for example I'm increasing to 110, it's not gonna impact anything. So if I do show this maximum hop count changed, and after that it bring up again, right? So show IP protocol, now this one has 110, and let's see, show IP protocol, this one still has 100, and if I do show IP Eigrp neighbor, I still have the neighbor relationship, and if I do show IP route Eigrp, I still have the route. So you can change the maximum hop counts on an individual basis, and without impacting the neighbor relationship or the routing protocol, right? So now let's see some other stuff. For example, let me do a redistribution, right? So let's say I create a route. The trees network is via me, right? So this is just a bin bucket I created, right? So if you look at IP route, you will see that bin bucket is there. Right? I created a static route, and now what I will do, I will redistribute this into Eigrp. So I will go to router Eigrp 100, and I will do redistribute static. So for static and for connected, right, you do not need to define the metric. If I do that, and if I go to router 1 will have that 3 network, which is the external, right? So once we have external, now the idea what I wanted to show you is that how can we change the distance? This distance, this is 170, right? What if I want to change it? How are we going to do that? So on router 1, if I go to router Eigrp 100, and I think the command is distance, and then you can change the distance, right? So if I do Eigrp, I have the internal route. So let's say internal route is still 90. I am not going to change it, but external routes, instead of 170, I want to do 110, right? But this is going to happen for all the routes. So if I do IP route Eigrp now, you can see, did I did 110? Have I done that? Have I done that? Oh, now it's changed. But let me see. Yeah, I did 110. Okay, that is fine. So now you can see that I have 110 here, right? But router, if I do something, send something from router 1, it will be on router 2, it will be 170. Okay, so that's not going to change. So this is only local to the router itself. Now the other thing which is important about Eigrp, that Eigrp use 50% of network or the link bandwidth for its communication, for its control plane traffic. Now we can reduce that value, right? And that value doesn't seems to be. So if I do, let me see if I can run that. Show interface 1 by 2 full, if no all, if that works. Show run all, include or section 1 by 2, something like that. Okay. Here we have, maybe this one has it, maybe it doesn't. So I'm just trying to see what is the default values here for Eigrp here. So you can see that the hello interval is 100.5, hold time is 15. Next hop self is the Eigrp 100. I wanted to see the default value of bandwidth percent. There you go. Here we go. IP Eigrp 100 is 50, right? So this is default value of 50, so it used 50%. So if I go inside the interface and I say IP, what was that, bandwidth percent for Eigrp, and this is only for Eigrp, and then it requires the maximum bandwidth percent that Eigrp may use. So if I want to change, I can change it. and it will show in the, there is no such thing to look at. It will only show it in the configuration that now it's 45 instead of 50, which I just showed you, that the default value is 50, right? So that's the only difference between these two. Now if let's say you don't know the actual command, let's say you forgot the command and you want to change the bandwidth utilization of the Eigrp, what you can do is that you can divide the link speed, whatever the link speed is, and for example we are using, in this case let's say we are using, if I do show interface 1/2, if you look at this one you can clearly see that we are actually, we already done here. So let's switch here, show interface 1/1. If you look here, we have a bandwidth of 1544, right? And if I divide that, so let me open a calculator. So 1544, and let's say I wanted to use only 300 something for 386 kilobits for the Eigrp. So if I divide it by 2, I have 772 value, right? This 772. And if I divide it further, because by default it's 50, so if I divide it further, that will be 386. So if the question asks me that, you know, you have to do only 386 kilobits per second should be used by the protocol, then I can go into the 1/1 and I can just use the bandwidth command of 772, because by default we use the 50% of that one, which is 386, right? So that is the end of this lab, guys. These are some advanced features, not that advanced, but for it's the same CPU, these are a bit advanced. So I want you guys to practice that. I'm sure that whoever watch it will share it, enjoy it, and do the labs. Labs are very important. The more practical work you do, the better you will get. Have a good day, guys.